You are losing at chess because you keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again. You are not learning, you are not improving, you are just repeating the same mistakes. The solution is that you stop playing chess the way you currently are and that you try out what I will show you here in this video. So I will be playing a demonstration game against this 2200 rated, and I will tell you exactly what you need to do to start winning more games. So first of all, for the opening, forget about anything complicated. Please trust me, you don't need anything complicated. We just need to stick to opening principles. And all that means is we are going to put one of our pawns in the center. We are going to protect it with a different pawn. And I am just looking to develop my pieces. So I am going to play my knight here to f6, and I want to keep things very simple. My opponent takes my pawn in the center, so for sure I will just be recapturing this. That is also why in every position, I think if you have a central pawn, it is very good to have a backup, to have a pawn that's protecting it, so that if they ever take, you can basically just take back. Here, they play bishop to g5. They are trying to pin my bishop to the queen, so we need to do something about that, because keeping a pin on the board for too long is just going to cause you trouble. So we are going to play bishop to e7, and then on the next move I will castle. And this is all you need to do for the opening. The only thing you need to remember: stick to the opening principles, pawn in the center, develop pieces, castle. And then in the middle game, you are going to outplay your opponent, and in the middle game, you are going to get a winning position if you just follow my strategy. So what we need to do is, first, whenever they make a move, we need to sit on our hands. Literally, don't touch your pieces. We need to look at their move first. They put the bishop on d3. So what I do is I right click their piece and I draw arrows. And this might sound a bit simple or stupid, but this really helps, because this just forces you to have a look at their latest move and to see what they are doing. The next level of this is to also quickly check what was their piece doing previously, because then you can also figure out if they maybe created a weakness or blundered something. So what I see is they are developing a bishop, especially this is important. They are attacking this h7 square, and there is a bit of a weakness there, but nothing spectacular, nothing that we can immediately use to our benefit. So then we have to find a move ourselves, and to find the best moves, we always do the same routine. We first look if we have any checks. We have no checks. Then we see if we have any captures. We have no captures. Then we want to see if we have an attack or a threat. So that would mean if we have a way to maybe attack a high value piece with a low value piece. Maybe if we had a way to potentially win a queen, to do a checkmate, to do a fork. Those would be threats. So checks, captures, threats. And if we don't find anything, we will go to optimize stage. So here I do have a threat. I am just going to play pawn to h6 to challenge their bishop and basically ask them, what are you going to do with this piece? And they just trade, so we capture back. So that is perfectly fine. And then they move the rook. Again, I'm always stopping to see what they are doing. And they are not just protecting their knight, they are also attacking this pawn. So we need to have a look at this, because this might cause us trouble in the future. Okay. So again, no checks. We have a capture in the center, but we would be giving away a bishop. We don't have threats in this position. So no CCT, so we have to go to CCTO, optimization. That is our next step. And optimizing means we want to use our pieces which are still on the back rank, or we want to play with pawns. But when we move pawns, you mostly need to focus on the E pawn, D pawn and C pawn. Those are your most important pawns. The other ones, just let them sit on the starting square. Here I moved h6 because we had a clear reason to. We had a threat and we were fixing that pin. So we had a reason there. So the move I will play is rook e8. This is optimize. We pick up the rook, we put it on a better square, and it is doing a better job here than it was on the f8 square. They play the knight here. I don't see any problem. Again, no checks, no captures, no threats. So I will do optimize. I am going to protect my central pawn by moving pawn to c6. And also I am taking away 2 squares from them. And they castle. And the good thing is you won't need to redo the CCT check too often. Meaning checks, captures, threats. Because usually if there is not really anything, the only thing we need to do is we need to focus on their latest move and see if that changed anything. And their castling didn't really change anything. So we don't have to go through CCT. We can immediately start with the O for optimize. Which piece can we optimize? Well, we have a couple of options, but I'm just going to play knight to d7, just because this is a development move. I don't know what's really going on with them moving the king to the corner. I'm a little bit confused, but okay. Again, our turn, no CCT, optimize. So currently, when I look at optimize, my CD pawn are already used, my E pawn is gone. So optimize means we need to use these pieces. We cannot let them sit on the starting square. We need to get them into the game. Well, I don't want to move any pawns and get my bishop over this way. I'm looking to at some point maybe use the bishop here. So my knight is blocking. So what I will do here is I will move my knight. And yes, I am moving the same piece twice, but that is okay. When you are optimizing, sometimes the first move that you make with a piece won't be the best possible move or the best possible square for that piece. So we need to move it once more, which I just did here by moving the knight. Okay, they play knight to f4, so always sit on your hands first. Double check, triple check if necessary what they are doing. We cannot afford any blunders. So I look at this and I see nothing. I don't think they really have anything going on. So again, I want to improve my position. Well, still, we have 3 pieces that we haven't used yet. Those are the pieces I want to have a look at. So I am going to play queen to d6. Okay, queen to d6. And they play knight to h5, attacking my bishop. In general, my advice is don't let them capture a bishop with a knight if there is no compensation, and also don't give away a bishop for a knight if there is no compensation. And with compensation, I mean maybe there is a follow-up tactic, maybe you can double their pawns or damage the pawn structure, but here we would just be trading, and that's not what we want. So it might be useful to literally just pick up the piece and move it somewhere else. I know that looks like we are just wasting time, we are just moving the same piece twice, but this is important. We don't want to lose bishops for knights. That is something that we want to think about here. Okay, queen f3, so we really have to double check everything, but I don't really see anything going on. As always, we have to go through checks, because we have checks, but it's useless. Captures, that's also a capture, and threats. But we also don't really have any threats, except maybe g6. I think g6 could be the only threat that we might consider. g6, and then they have to move the knight somewhere. Maybe they go here, maybe they go there. But again, we are moving pawns near the king, and in general, I try not to move any pawns, except for my e, d, and c pawns. So no checks, no captures, but the threat I won't go for it. So let's just move another piece. The bishop was not yet in the game, so we had to use it. We had to move it. So that's why I'm playing here bishop to d7. Okay, they go here with the knight. That looks perfectly fine to me. Again, the CCT doesn't give me anything, so optimize. We have another rook that we haven't moved yet. We are going to move it here. Oh, okay, the queen comes closer to our position. We need to double check what it is doing. It is sideways attacking this, and it is also attacking this. But honestly, I don't really see anything going on there. Okay, so no checks. We have captures, but they are useless. But I think here in this position, we now have a threat. We have an attack. We can play bishop to g5, and this is simply threatening if they are not careful, if they make a random move. I will show you. If they make a random move, we would just be able to take the knight, and then we would be able to take the pawn. And we have to repeat this process during the entire game. Checks, captures, threats, checks, captures, threats, because if they make a mistake, the fact that you are going through the checks, the captures, and the threats will reveal their mistake to you. You will find it and you will win material. So that is the goal. And by doing the threats, we are also potentially setting up traps and tricks and attacks for them to fumble the game, basically, and just lose. Okay, so nothing much going on. So again, optimize. And all we are doing, literally all we are doing in any game, is we are waiting for the opponent to mess up, to blunder, to make a mistake. So we won't do anything crazy ourselves. I won't start randomly pushing pawns, which so many players would do here, or pushing pawns here. No, I will keep moving around my pieces forever until they make a mistake. So I'm just going to move another piece, queen to f6, and all I'm looking for is to see if they will make a mistake. So they don't make a mistake. They move the rook over here. So again, it is our turn to move. So we don't have any CD pawn moves. They are just stuck. We have a capture here, but again, no bishop for knight trades unless if we have a clear advantage. I think maybe now we can play g6, because checks captures threats. This is a threat, and I think now that the queen and bishop are this close to our king, we won't really cause ourselves any trouble by pushing this pawn. It's basically just going to force their queen to move. Okay, that is fine. So I'm looking for new ways to optimize my pieces, and I don't really see a lot going on here. So I think some things we might try would maybe be a bishop f5 to try to see if we could trade. Maybe we could try something with doubling up the rooks on the e file. I think that could also be useful, because when you are optimizing, you also need to realize which of my pieces are actually a little bit useless here. And I think that many of our pieces are actually not that well placed. This knight is not doing extremely that much. The rooks are not doing that much, but that is okay. We are just going to keep improving them. I also just realized we actually might have a interesting threat here, which is pawn h5. And if they play any random move, I just realized that probably bishop g4, and then queen there, and then bishop h4, this would be trapping their queen. I just realized this. So here, yes, I am going to play another pawn move, but the reason why is because I think we might be able to trap that queen. If I calculated that correctly, I think we are just winning a queen there. I think this is just a free queen. The queen is just trapped. They take on h5. Okay, they take on h5. That's interesting. I think if we take with the g-pawn, everything looks similar, but they now have the queen to f4, which could lead to a trade, and then probably them losing a pawn. So I think we can definitely take, or we take with the bishop, but I'm going to take here with the pawn. And I think this is going to be a forced variation. So first of all, we are already up material here because they sacrificed the knight to avoid a queen trade. And this is what is going to happen in all of your games. At some point, your opponent will mess up, they will blunder, they will make a mistake, and all you need to do is find it, trade down into an endgame, and you will win the game. And if they don't make a single mistake, be happy that you got a draw because your opponent was an amazing chess player. So right here, I am winning, I am up material, and when I am up material, I completely switch up my strategy. The only thing I care about now is trading. Trading. I'm just going to trade every single piece. We are going to trade everything. And the reason why is we are up material. So if I just go for a bunch of trades, like literally everything is flashing and being traded here. But if I trade everything, we are going to win this endgame. Because imagine for a moment that this rook is traded for this rook, and this knight is traded for this bishop. What would the ending position be? It would be king and pawns, but we still have this. We still have the extra bishop. So of course we would be winning that endgame 100% of the time. So that is our plan. So I'm looking for more trades. So I think I will play king f8 and try to do rook e8. Because literally I'm just looking to see if I can trade rooks, and perfect. My opponent is literally just helping me. They are also trading the rooks. So now I think we are just equal in pawns, and we are just up a full knight. No, I don't think I will go chase the bishop, because the bishop will just always slide over to another section of the board, so our knight is never going to be there in time to catch it, or at least I don't think so. So that means we have to move on to the next part of the strategy, and the next part of the strategy is to try to create what is known as a passed pawn. That is simply a pawn that's running to promotion. And the reason why we want to now focus on creating a passed pawn is because if we have a passed pawn, they will be tied up in defense trying to prevent it, and if they cannot prevent it, we are simply going to win the game. So my calculation here is simple. I move, they go there, I push, and that's a dark square. So the bishop can never go back. So we can literally just push. And yes, they have to play this, and they have to protect that square. But now we are in a completely dominating position, because they have to use their only piece as a defender. So we are basically just up even more material, because their piece is out of the game. And this even allows us to play more crazy moves, like knight to d5. Because no, they cannot take, otherwise we promote, and that's a dark square. The bishop cannot reach it in time, and on the next move we could go here or there, and then we can push and we are going to promote. So I love this move, knight to d5. I think that's probably not a brilliant move, but a very good move. So knight to e3, and we are pushing to c2. And they have to sacrifice the bishop to avoid losing the game. So that means we can take with the knight. And now we have a king and pawn endgame, but we have two minor pieces. So the main concern that we have here is you don't want to allow your opponent to make a queen. That would be bad. And if we need to sacrifice one of our pieces or even both pieces to stop all of those pawns from promoting, that is okay. That is okay, because eventually we are still going to be able to win the game, because we have a 2 versus 1 on this side of the board, so we will always create a passed pawn. So I'm literally looking to just create another passed pawn and start pushing, and if I really need to, I will sack my knight, I will sack my bishop, and I'm going to try to prevent them from pushing. So the only thing we have to worry about is, can we continue or will they promote? Well, it's pretty clear to me that our bishop is stopping that, so it will take them one move, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and even then I don't think they can ever promote, because our bishop is always going to crash into the final pawn. So what I do in endgames is I just calculate how many moves my opponent is going to need, which is about at minimum 7 here, and then I look at my moves, which are literally 1, then they trade, 2, 3, 4, 5. So definitely I will be promoting first, and I don't even think that in 7 moves they will have a queen. That's protected, right? Yes, or knight is protecting, so I can just push. Okay, I can just push. I cannot push, because if I push, they take my knight, so that is not what we want. So I think what I need to do, my knight is protected. What I need to do is I probably just need to move my bishop. Yes, and if I move my bishop, I'm still guarding all of this. And I think now I need to move my knight, and then I can promote the pawn. Okay, and if something happens over here, I mean, yeah, nothing is happening over here, literally. And then we can just push. And then it depends. Usually you should make a queen, and that's going to lead to the easiest checkmate. When I play online, I usually make something else if they don't resign, and I try to learn some new interesting checkmating patterns. And the way that you checkmate with a queen is simply make a small box for their king, and then you can try to activate an extra piece and just do the queen kiss checkmate, which is basically giving the king a kiss, and then it is checkmate on the next move. I think we have an interesting move here, bishop to d4, which forces them to promote. Then we capture backwards. They are forced to go back to that square. At least I think that's interesting. Then we can go here. They have to go to the corner, and now we can deliver the final move, the queen's kiss. Queen to h2, and the queen is standing next to the king, and it is protected. So please, for your next game, try to just stick to opening principles and use this CCTO strategy.